What is up guys, Cardtalk here, and today I'm here with another Digimon deck profile. Today we'll be going over the MaloMyotismon deck from BT-16. So this deck is super fun. It's a deck that I've wanted to be good for a long time, and with the new support, I don't think it's quite there yet. But I think it's still a pretty solid deck to play, and you can get some pretty good wins from against some higher tier decks as long as you have a good setup. And so without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. So for the Digitamas, we are going to be running 4 of the Chibi Meramon or Demi Meramon from BT-15. So this one lets you trash one of your when this Digimon is deleted, you can trash one of your level 5 or higher Digimon from your hand to draw 2, and that's perfect for this deck because we are actually running a very top heavy build. So there's quite a lot of level 5 and 6s on this in this deck, so you'll be able to proc this effect pretty well. If you want to run the old Demi Meramon that lets you draw 1 and discard 1, that's fine as well. But I think being able to dig through more cards and just ditching your high level stuff so that you can set up for later is pretty good. Next, for the level 6s, we are going to be running 4 of the MaloMyotismon from BT-16. So this is the new boss monster of the deck, and it's pretty solid. It's not bad at all. So it has 2 effects. One is on evolution, and the other one is when attacking. And then you can delete one of your Digimon or Tamers to delete one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. If this effect does not delete a Digimon, then you can delete one of your opponent's Tamers instead. And then on all turns, when one of your other Digimon or Tamers is deleted, you can trash the top card of your opponent's security. So obviously the first effect combos really well with the second effect. So you can just get some pretty solid effects going on all the time, either by using an effect to pop your own stuff to trash, or just getting rid of our opponent's setup. So it's pretty solid. Hard Digi-evolving is pretty expensive, so most of the time you do want to cheat it out with the Tamer. So yeah, we're running 4 of those. Next, we're also running 1 of the old MaloMyotismon. This one is in here just as a little bit of flavor and just to fill out the MaloMyotismon lineup. So on play, if you have 5 or more cards with Myotismon in its name in the trash, you can delete one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon, and then you can also trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. And then on evolution, you can trash the top 5 cards of your deck, and then if you have a card with Myotismon in your trash, you can gain 1 memory. So obviously this one's not as good because this one requires a little bit more setup. But in the events that you do have 5, then this one is a pretty good go-to. Just because you can delete and trash, so it's pretty good. And next we're running 2 of the MaloMyotismon from BT-15. So this is a blocker, and it also has a on evolution, on play, and on deletion effect, which is to delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. So this is pretty solid just because you'll be able to get rid of your opponent's level 5s so that you can stop them from using Ace. So this is pretty good against, Terriermon decks, Digimon decks. You can armor purge, you can force their armor purge. So it's pretty solid, and there are ways to cheat this out as well. So we're running 2 of those. Next, we are going to be running 4 of the Myotismon from BT-15. This is the Ace one. So I have mixed feelings about this card because obviously this is a really strong card, but it's kind of counterintuitive sometimes because it is a blocker, but it also has overflow. So when you use it to block and proc your effects, you'll be able to do most of your effects, but you're also giving your opponent 3 memory, which most of the time is pretty not that bad because you'll be able to do your combo and then play a bunch of stuff and get rid of their field anyway. But sometimes it just doesn't feel good to give your opponent 3 memory. But yeah, this is a blocker. On evolution and on play, you'll be able to play a level 3 purple Digimon or a Tamer from your trash. So you're getting advantage of this card no matter what. So it's pretty solid, and it combos really well with the rest of the deck. So I think 4 Myotismon is kind of essential in this build. Next, we're also running 4 of the Arukenimon and 4 of the MaloMyotismon. They come in as a pair. So the Arukenimon's effect is it has blocker. So both of them have so this has blocker and this one has retaliation. And they serve similar purposes, but they're not exactly the same. So the Arukenimon, this is the Arukenimon, lets you reveal the top 5 of your cards of your deck on play, and then you can trash 2 purple cards amongst them, and then return the rest of the bottom deck. So this helps you set up your trash, as well as get combo pieces, or just filter your deck out for cards that you might not want in your hand. So it's pretty good. And on deletion, you can trash. From your trash, you can play a tamer with MaloMyotismon and its text, without the same name as one of your other tamers without paying its cost. So very solid. And MaloMyotismon on play lets you draw 2 and trash 2, so you can filter cards from your hand, so you can get rid of useless things that you can't use for the draw. And on deletion, you can also play a tamer with MaloMyotismon and its text from its trash, without the same name as one of your tamers without paying its cost. So combos, they combo really well with each other, and most of the time you will be playing the Oikawa as well as the Arukenimon and MaloMyotismon tamers. So those are the level 5s, so pretty top heavy as you can see, but that's okay because they do have on cast effects and you do have ways to reduce the cost, so it's not too bad. But we are going to be running 4 of the Bukemon from BT-16. This has an on evolution as well as an on deletion effect, so it lets you draw 1, and then afterward you can trash a card from your hand, so you can do a little bit of cycling. But we also want to have level 4s in this deck, just so you can have the off chance of Blast evolving into your MaloMyotismon if you need it. And its inherent skill gives retaliation, so not bad. But that's actually the only... Wait, no, we are also running one more. And we're also running 1 of the Eismon scatter mode from BT-7. This is we're only allowed to run 1 now, so I'm running that one to fill out our level 4 line. So this one lets you draw 3 and trash 2, which is still a really amazing effect. Of course, I wish we can play this at 4, but I think running it at 1 is fine as well, because there are some pretty good alternatives to this card. But yeah. All right, next we're moving on to level 3. So level 3s, we are running 4 of the Pico Devimon, or Demi Devimon from BT-15. So on play, you can look at the top 4 cards of your deck, and then you can add a card that contains card that contains Myotismon in its text and add it to your hand. And then you can put the rest to the bottom of your deck. And then if you add a card, you can you have to trash a card from your hand. So the trashing actually helps because you can get rid of useless pieces. And the hair skill also gives you retaliation, which is pretty good. And last but not least, we are running 2 of the Ignitemon. Ignitemon is here to help you. Sometimes it'll be able to proc the inherent effect to get 1 memory whenever you play a Digimon with effect, because we do have a lot of ways to play Digimon with effects. But actually, its on attack skill is also pretty strong. On attack, you can pop one of your Digimon to get rid of one of your opponent's active Digimon with a same level. So you can actually use this to pop your Arukenimon or MaloMyotismons in order to proc their effect to let you play a tamer. So that is pretty good. So yeah, running 2 of the Ignitemons. We don't really have space. We don't have that much space, so 2 is enough. But actually, the removal is really strong. Next, for the last of the level 3s, we are going to be running 4 of the Ukomon. So Ukomon is here to help you search. So before, I was actually running the other Ukomon. So the other Ukomon lets you get 1 memory when you move to the battle area, when something moves to the battle area. This one lets you search your top, lets you search the top 3 cards of your deck, and you can add a tamer or a Digimon and put the rest at the bottom, and then you can also hatch 1. So it's really strong. It does cost 1 to evolve in the raising. It does cost 1 to evolve, which is okay, because I think you get enough advantage from it that 1 cost is fine. It helps speed up the deck a lot. So if you actually have space, or you want to cut something out, you can definitely run another Ukomon instead. I do have some ideas on what you can cut out, but yeah, we're running 4 of this Ukomon because searching your tamers is very important. So if you, in the off chance, didn't get to trash your tamers with your Digimon effects, you can at least get a search out. And being able to search for a tamer and or a Digimon is very strong. So I think this Ukomon is going to see play in a lot. It's going to be splashing in a lot of decks just because Ukomon is very versatile. So there's that. Alright, next for the tamers, we are going to be running 4 of the Arukenimon and MaloMyotismon tamer. So this tamer is new from BT-16, and the effect is when Arukenimon or MaloMyotismon would be played from your hand, by deleting this tamer you can reduce the cost by 3. And you may play a, when this card is deleted, you can play a level 5 or lower card with MaloMyotismon as text from your trash without paying its cost, and then delete that Digimon at the end of your opponent's turn. So it's just really solid, just because you'll be able to get 2 Digimon out on the board with this card's effect. That's the main idea, and then you can recycle these. So yeah, it's really good. I think it's really good. And next we are going to be running 4 of the Oikawas. So whenever your Digimon with MaloMyotismon and his name is deleted, you can suspend this tamer to get 1 memory. That's not the important part. The important part is, if this tamer is suspended, you can play 1 at the end of opponent's turn. If this card's suspended, you can play a MaloMyotismon from your trash without paying its cost by deleting this tamer. So basically, very similar to in the show. You know, he was manipulated by MaloMyotismon. So you're gonna be using him as bait to call out your MaloMyotismon. Yeah, it's very solid. Well, very solid. It is a bit of a downside that it only activates at the end of your opponent's turn, because there are a lot of cards in the game right now that have a tamer hate, so your opponent might be able to get rid of it before the end of their turn. So it's not as good as it would be if this deck came out a couple of sets ago, but I think it's still solid. If you have a couple of these out on the field, that's even better. But I'm fine with the current effect of this card. I think it's still pretty fun to use. So next for the options, we are going to be running 4 of the MaloMyotismon option card from BT-15. So this effect is you can ditch a Digimon from your hand to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a lower level than the ditched card. And then if you ditched a MaloMyotismon text card from your hand, you can draw 2. So I think it's pretty solid, just because you can get MaloMyotismons off your hand, so you can get rid of this. So by getting rid of this, you can pop level 6, which is really good. And not only are you popping level 6, you're also drawing 2, which helps you dig for more pieces. So I think it's very solid. So we're running 2 of those for removal. For the options, this is the flex slot. So if you don't like the missed memory boost, you can replace these with the Ukomon from the movie pack. The main reason I'm running this is just to help illustrate for people who don't have that card, because I think it's still kind of hard to get for English. I'm not sure if it's going to be easier once the set comes out, the tamer set. Ukomon's pretty easy to get in Japanese, but yeah, if you guys like memory boost, you guys can run these instead. I think memory boost also has its use, because you can save that 2 memory for later. Since if you are going to be hard casting your level 5s, I think having that 2 extra memory does help quite a bit. So we are going to be running the purple memory boost for that reason. If you also run a memory setter, that's also fine. I know it gets kind of rough when you don't have a memory setter in a deck that is very heavily level 6 focused. So yeah, this memory boost is kind of a flex slot. Next, we are going to be running 2 of the Fog Barrier. So this is from BT-15, and by deleting one of your Digimon, you can play one of your MaloMyotismon from your trash without paying the cost, and then place this card into your battle area. On all turns, whenever one of your MaloMyotismon is deleted, you can use the delay effect, which is to play one MaloMyotismon from your trash without paying its cost. So this is pretty good. The only reason we are running only 2 of these is because this is specifically whenever a Myotismon gets destroyed. So this is the only Myotismon we have. So these cards might be dead sometimes. But I think 2 is fine. If you obviously if you do want to run these at 4, you can play 2 more. Remove 2 of the mismemory boosts for 2 more of these. But I think 2 is fine. 2 is a good number. I think 4 might be overkill. You just want a couple of these on the field to play mind games with your opponent. If they see this on the board, they'll be a little bit more careful deleting your Myotismons because they'll know that you'll be able to slap down a level 6 for free whenever that happens. So yeah, pretty good. But another option you guys can run is if you guys want to run more Myotismons, there's a lot of options for you guys to run. You can remove 2 of these mismemory boosts for 2 more level 5 Myotismons. You can either run the BT-8 Myotismon or you can run the EX1 Myotismon. I think both of them are pretty good. Another option is going to be the Digimon from BT-8. This one lets you look at the top 3 cards and lets you add a tamer. And you can trash a purple Digimon afterwards. But I think the Ukumon pretty much does a better job at that, so that's why I'm running the Ukumon over the Digimon now. But if you guys don't have access to the Ukumon for some reason, you can definitely slot this back in. So that is pretty much it for this deck. It's a very, very fun deck to play. It does require a bit of skill just because it doesn't play like a traditional deck. You do need to have a awareness of your trash as well as your board state so that you can maximize your Myotismon spam. But you'll get used to it. It's a very, very fun deck to play, and it does give your opponent a headache because it does play very differently, so your opponents sometimes don't really know what to expect. But yeah, it's a fun deck. I think you guys can definitely give it a try. It's a very cheap deck to play as well, just because Myotismon doesn't get a lot of love. So I guess it's definitely a plus for Myotismon fans. But that is it for this deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. But this is Karataku, and I will see you guys next time.